Conversations by Ordinary People podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm actually nervous to be here, but...
No, I don't worry. It's as serious as you want to take it, basically.
Well, I feel like I'm in a courtroom though, but...
We'll do something about the setup. It's a little bit scary, yeah. But yeah, again, thanks for accepting to be part. From what I hear, it was quite a night last night.
Yes, it was. I mean, it was a Friday.
I see.
Yes.
I thought because of the curfew and the whole thing, partying has been put on hold for a while now.
I was partying at home with my household.
I see.
Right by the pool.
I see.
Yes.
So yeah, how is this affecting your business though? So part of your business also is to like throw these parties and get people together.
Actually, no. I actually do that to socialize and to network. I've never actually thrown a party to make money.
I see.
In my whole time of existence. Yeah, because I think man works in a way that he's supposed to rest. And like, how should I put it? If you try your level best to push without actually like blowing off steam, I guarantee you're either a robot or you're going to crash and burn one of these days.
I see. Is partying though a good definition for resting? I feel like partying is anything but resting.
You see, what you people call a party,
yeah,
other people call like sharing ideas and actually bonding with their friends. Like actually that's the time I'll have to actually know what my best friend is going through, if he has issues, what my business partners are planning, in case there's something I can jump on board that they have not told me about. That's the time they actually get loose and tell me their whole everything.
This is a problem.
Yes.
And the trick usually is the liquor. Or this is the point I do the podcast, is to get people to tell me their life problems and secrets. But I see for you figured it out with the parties.
Yeah, how should I put it? Different, there's no formula to success, I believe. Like, everybody find what works for them.
Yeah.
Now, I got to realize that the best deal is cracked when somebody has let loose, is relaxed. Then the office is just to finish up what you guys started.
I see.
Yes.
So yeah, let's switch on a little bit to the business part. We'll come back to some of the lighter conversations later.
Yes.
I know you're in private security, right? And sort of this is a business you're into. And I wanted to first pick your brain on your assessment on the security climate. How does it feel right now in the country? Should we be worried? Either side, should we be worried that the government is going to sort of become paranoid? Should we be worried that Bobby Wine and his boys are going to try something funny? Is there any cause for worry from any
You're
of
driving me into a political conversation.
Okay.
And how should I put it? I have to first of all be very straight with you.
Yeah.
I bleed yellow since I was a child, and I've worked in NRM since I was a child.
I see.
I think 2011 I was actively in the Mr. President's campaign. And I can tell you one thing. I don't think there's anything to be worried about. How should I put it? In fact, if anything, you should be more concerned of the coronavirus than the security situation.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure you have seen how tight the grip has been on violence, on post-election violence, that it didn't even break out. Yes, so if anything, I should commend the national security on that. Those gentlemen have actually done a good job, because as a businessman, I like everything of mine moving perfectly, because it's about anything that brings chaos takes money out of my pocket. You know me that, you've heard that I own shares in a security firm. That is, how should I put it, on my, let me say, operations, that's something very small. Like, it's a small segment of what I do. Because I bought shares in a small company long ago, about 2016. And we've been pushing, we've been moving to see where it can go, but it's not my core business.
I see.
I actually just partner. You see, I like meeting young people with ideas. Yes, like you said, we party, or maybe we meet for a social gathering. And along the way, if I see your dream or your, how should I put it, your business makes sense to me. And I see, maybe because most businesses are cash strapped or and they have bigger visions. So that's where I come in. I take shares and I finance what is happening. So you could call me some bit of a financier, but I don't do it like a bit of an investor on a small scale.
I was going to use investor. Enjoy investing, actually, basically.
Yes.
And what is the core business, right? Is it enjoy investing? Is it do you have like a specific industry in which you participate actively?
Well, okay, I'll give you a small background about myself.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
So after school, I joined my dad in his timber business. Yes. He was basically doing timber in Uganda, doing the normal carpentry, normal timber sales, the normal thing. But because I had a lot of stints abroad in Europe, in Italy, I made a few contacts where I established timber export. You know what I'm trying to say? So I used to come here, have him do for me the work on my own thing, just looking for money. You know how a guy, you're young, you're hustling, you want what you want. So I would use my little money, buy timber off him, have it cut to size, export it to my clients. My clients, not as a family business, just my private
personal
thing.
clients. Yeah.
So I ended up making actually more money than the actual factory.
Oh.
Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So along the way, my dad had issues and started falling sick a bit, and he decided to relinquish some of the control to me, most of the control to me. So I saw it in a way that I should take it to another direction and end up actually going more of export than good working on Ugandan's things
distributing within the country.
Yes. So I started like that, and I ended up making good money because I actually never hit any loss in that business whatsoever, even to date, from from 2010 to date. Yes.
That's
so along the way, I branched out into real estate. I started developing houses and selling. But you see, my take in real estate is I would build a house which I can stay in. I don't build a house which I'm going to sell. How I entered the market was I would build something to my spec, not to I'm building it. You know, I've realized most of the people doing real estate in Uganda are actually, should I say, a bit of, they sell you something substantial or something not good.
Isn't that like a business school 101? You build for the market.
It is in a certain market, but it doesn't last. At a certain point, you're going to get lawsuits. You're going to get dissatisfied clients. I have a group of friends, I can't mention them, but their houses' ceilings have caved in on the client when just is changing a chandelier. Or let me say he comes in, finds in something light. He's like, this doesn't suit my profile. So he's changing it to suit him, and the whole ceiling will come down. I've had clients who things have happened in their houses where a pipe has burst and they have to dig out the whole foundation because in his piping he passed it under the tiling instead of in the walls. You understand what I'm trying to say? Just to save a back here and there, where the cement is so poorly mixed that after some time you see the wall peeling off. Yes. So how should I put it? And most of them are facing lawsuits. Most of them have lost friends, have lost future clients. They're still working because, trust me when I tell you that Uganda has a very ignorant market. People don't do their research before getting into things. They are excited. Somebody wakes up in the morning and is like, you know what, I need to have this house. I got this money. This week I need to sleep in a house, without going deep in how was this thing constructed, how was this thing not bringing. I believe pay professionals well, because the more money they make, the more money they save you. Because if before you bought a home, that's if you can't construct, if you can't wait the time to construct it, you walked into a place, looked for engineers, structural engineers, brought them to a house to actually check it out 100%. Yes, they'll charge you an extra 5 million, but in case that house was built poorly, you'll have saved your whole fortune that you are going to use to buy it. Because once you write on paper and you sign that you have bought as is, you understand what I'm trying to say? It's just like when you're buying a car as well. It's better you actually first have it checked out thoroughly before. Your mechanic is going to take from you 500,000, $1 million extra. But guess what? You're going to put your life in that thing every day. I see. So what is the value of your life? Just like the house you're going to sleep in. If that roof caves in on you and falls and kills your children, what value are you placing on them to actually be sure about that?
Is way higher.
So I did real estate. And that real estate, I ended up from one house to a bigger house because I was just doing one house at a time.
Oh, okay.
Till finally, my first house the land cost me about, 13 million then. And building the house cost me about 60 million. But again, I like unique things. I wouldn't go and tell an architect to design for me a house that looks like the other guy's house. I'll actually go on the internet, get 10 houses abroad, which are nowhere like in Africa or in anywhere near. If I were to go Africa, I would look at maybe South Africa, maybe Santon, like look at a few houses left, right, and center, then get those houses, yes, come sit down with an architect, tell him my needs, what I want, and then how to find a crossbreed between some of those, and again to put his creativity with all that so that it doesn't look too much. And again, I'm a simple guy. I don't like the Ugandan way of doing things, of painting a house like a Christmas tree. Because if you Google the best houses in the world, or the best, how should I put it, the best, like what you dream about, your dream life, yes? I'm sure all those people you love, your celebrities, your politicians, if you look at their houses abroad, are one colored. Or they are, if they are two colors, it's a shade of another. You understand what I'm trying to say? Unlike Uganda, where if every house you look at has like 3 colors outside. Now, I don't work with that. So that helped me in a way that always when I do a project, when I decide to do a project, as soon as I'm done with it, I will sell it for the money I actually want, yes? And without hustling too much in the market, because it will be unique. Because guess what? People actually in Uganda appreciate good things.
Yeah, that's true. My curiosity is with the... I personally built myself my own house, but my curiosity is with the market of built houses.
Yes.
When I was at university, maybe university or secondary school, in Chiwatule, they were building those condos.
Yes.
Yeah, and the price tag was $100,000.
Yes.
$100,000, yeah. And, you know, by then the dollar was not as high as now, but say the equivalent still for today. If I want to spend 40 million, 400 million rather, that's... No, $100,000. Yeah, $100,000 is 400. 365.
Yeah.
You know, it would almost 400 million.
Yes.
I would be able to buy good land.
Yes, it depends on proximity.
Yeah, still. Okay, I understand the proximity part. You can't definitely buy it in Chiwatule, obviously, but you know, in a very calm place, in a good estate somewhere, and build significantly big house than just a condo.
Yes.
For that amount, you know, what is the value add? Who are the kind of clients do people target with that kind of say even here at Bellwether where I'm shooting from?
Yes.
You know, for example, this is and I see this place is always booked out, so
Yes.
which is odd. I don't understand those people's minds.
Yes.
Including yours now since you're host here.
How should I put it? You see, one, I don't know. Okay, that question was broad, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't know about people who buy condos. Okay. I cannot share with them, or even sit with them, or even try to understand what they are up to. Unless your condo is in Kololo, or it is in...
True.
Because that I can understand, because one of the Indians who trained me in business, especially the business of real estate, I sold him a plot in Naguru in 2010. Like, I used to trade plots as well, like buy here, sell here. Now, when I sold him this plot in I found it weird, because I used about 170 million to get that plot from from land, so it was cheap, like as compared to the market value. Now the market value of that plot was about $470,000, because that's what I sold it for. Yes. Now, how should real estate doesn't work like that. Those are chances. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I see.
It's like a one in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, I sold it to this Indian. So after he paid me, actually there were 3 Indians who added their money together so that they can split the plots, because it was a big plot, so that each one of them can get a house. Yes. Now I sat with him. He's the owner of one of the most reputable companies in Uganda. I don't have, I think, permission to speak about his name and his dealings, sure. But he's one of the biggest road construction companies here. But now I found it funny, because when he was actually paying me, you know, despite what you think when you look at people, people actually have, people have actually financial issues, despite how big you think they are. So when his other Indian partners gave me money, yes, his side of the money took a bit longer time than these other guys. And we ended up sitting through him negotiating loans in order to get that money, yes. But when he got the money, I was wondering, I was like, why would a person, yes, go and borrow money? Yes, to participate in a venture where he's going to put his sleep. Yes, like he's just going to sleep
in the house.
You get what I'm trying to say? Then again, I was like, and a guy of this stature, of this nature, with all his big things going on, how come he doesn't have his share of the money, which was about his was about 120 something or 130 something dollars, Why, how come he doesn't have it and he's moving into this venture? So in that time, and then he was driving a very huge car.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah,
so in my head, I'm like, how can this guy make ends meet? And yet he's considered successful in Uganda. Because I was a young man, I was on campus meanwhile. It's just that I entered business early because of family problems. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, this guy did something. He sat me down and explained to me something where he was staying. That time he was actually staying this side of Chanja. Now this side of Chanja was a bush.
Yeah,
it was a bush. It was very far. Even me who is talking to you, at that time I used to stay in Ruwaga. I had about a 10 minutes commute to town, and I could actually walk to anywhere in town. I didn't even need a car. So I used to wonder, anybody who lives far from town, what is wrong with them if you work in town? You understand what I'm trying to say? And this Indian explained to me the actual thing. He told me, if I stay in Chanja, to come to town every day, I waste about, 30 minutes seated in jam, going and coming back, because I move through rush hour all the time. So he told me that's an hour of my life every day gone, which I can never calculate, pay back, or like quantify. I'm just seated in a car every day. He told me in a week those are 5 hours. He told me in a month those are 20 hours. That's almost a day of my life gone. Like I'll never understand. That's why I'll tell you, from there I can like respect a guy who bought a house in Kololo in a condominium to save time so he can have access to his business quickly. If you're in Chiwatule and you bought a condominium, yes, and you have a business around Nadia, Ntinda,
I see.
it is understandable.
I see.
You get what I'm trying to say? It is very understandable.
I see.
Yeah.
So okay, that's clear. One of the other things that I also wanted to ask you about is the business. And so the business of timber itself, it has some controversies, and especially for people who are importing. Actually, for you're an exporter, but for people who are importing, it has.
I felt my side of it on that one.
But also the business of exporting itself
has its controversies.
It has its controversies, but it's also a very hard business to penetrate. It's from what I've heard, getting actual licenses to move products, apart from I did some avocado farming myself and some fruit farming that I wanted to export, and we couldn't get a license to do the exportation ourselves, so we had to get we could, but the process was tedious for us. We had to instead make a deal with a company that already does exporting. You have to do and we had to, that meant we had to forfeit a little bit of our profit as well.
But according to what you're saying, you already know how the business environment actually works.
Yeah, and I mean, I have an idea. I'm saying so first of all, addressing the controversy within timber, within the timber industry. First of all, most of the conversations I hear, timber that's imported is gotten from Congo, and it's sort of used to fund the war in Congo, so the instability can keep the timber business flowing.
Yes.
How true is that?
Well, you see, how should I put it? When you want a baby, yes, I'll tell you this. You have to know that your wife can actually die giving birth. If you have children, this and experience this, you can actually see it. But now you see, at the end of the day, you want the child, right? And at the end of the day, you try and look at the positive. But I'll give you an example. I'm not having another child because my last born almost killed my madam. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, because of that, my madam is asking me for another child every day. But I'm the one who sat there, made decisions when she was unconscious. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I do not want to be put in that position ever again in my life. Now, come, let me bring it back to you, to timber. I hope you can draw the relationship.
I think I get that.
In timber, every business, be it petrol, be it has its bad side. And unfortunately, the world works like that. There's nothing you're going to do about it.
Yeah, true.
Like if you go and see where the fuel you're using, where the actual oil is mined, there are controversies. There's environmental degradation. There are the instabilities that have to be kept there in order to keep the oil pumping.
We see what happened to Libya, for example.
But even before Gaddafi, his downfall, if you notice, there was always issues going on in the actual place where the oil comes from. Because where there's money, everybody wants it and everybody feels entitled to it. Now, you need to know who you are. For example, I'm a Catholic. Yes? I believe in all the principles that the Catholic faith taught me, whereby like I cannot go into the controversy of going into a bush, cutting down a forest, and having to use the how should I put it, using the military that is involved to actually get the timber out of the Congo forest. You understand what I'm trying to say? So what happens is there are people who have already done that. You understand what I'm trying to say? And they're going to deliver it to your doorstep. You understand what I'm trying to say? People who, how they do it, that is their issue, provided the price is right. Yeah. You understand what I'm trying to say? And guess what? The price will always... Haven't you ever wondered how diamonds are always ending up on the... blood diamonds are ending up in places and they are actually now legal when they are being sold in... So, timber has its standard of what makes it legal and what makes it illegal. What makes timber legal is if it has been stamped by the Forestry Ministry with its actual papers. Now, I have never traced a tree to how it got to Uganda. You understand what I'm trying to say? I do. You know very well that business is mainly operated by people in security, both on the other side of the border and on this side of the border. You understand what I'm trying to say? So don't ask questions of, I mean, how did he get this tree? Question is, are the papers right?
You look at
when
the papers
I'm at my factory and the lorry comes through, are my papers right? Like when forestry comes, can I defend it? I don't know if this timber was from, let me say, there are other places in Uganda where timber comes from. But at that moment, I'll not say, okay, me who's been in the timber industry for a long time, I can look at a tree and tell you where it's from. You understand, like, because of they differ. Like when you go to the specifics, they differ. Some are hairy, some are red, some will never dry completely. As in, there's a lot of some crack, like whereby you can. How should I put it? Like, especially, let me give you an example. When you look, you see this design on this table you're actually talking about. If it were actual timber, when it's not, Formica, and also, all this would be cracks in your timber, which have been worked on, to actually pull off this design. And that's what will make it expensive and actually desirable for you to brag about it. You understand what I'm trying to say? So there's timber which does that, all in different types of mahogany. You understand what I mean? Because I only deal with mahogany, by the way.
Okay.
Now, what happens is I will look at it, I will know. But provided your paperwork is legal, I've cross-checked it, it's legal. And let me tell you something about forestry. It's for the Forestry Ministry here. I don't know who gives them their intelligence, but whoever is doing it is doing a very good job, because you are never going to offload a lorry before you are arrested. Yes? Always. You will be arrested, then you bring out the paperwork, it's verified, then you can continue your offload.
I see.
There's no day you are going to offload a truck and you are not arrested.
Somehow they'll know that there's a lorry with timber in the country.
I don't know how they are doing their intelligence. Maybe my own factory workers are part of their network. It's okay. The whole point is they keep us straight.
I see.
Because I'll give you an example. In 2017, I applied for my first American visa, because I had traveled the world, but I had never seen a reason in going to America. Like, something about me, I never go anywhere where I don't have business. Like, I've never taken a holiday. I've had holidays, but I've never left Uganda that I have gone on holiday. What happens is, after my business, I take a detour. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, I wanted an American visa. So I applied all my paperwork. I was clean. My passport is good. I have like 10-year UK visas, 10-year EU business visas. Well, I'm well traveled a bit. Now, I was asked a question which was almost blacklisting me. Question is core business, just like I told you, timber. My passport was put in with this. My passport was put in the bag with political people with political issues, people who have real cases, like real big FBI wanted cases, people who are smuggling gold, diamond, or human trafficking, to an investigator like in his pile, now to investigate me, which he told me to produce certificates of my timber importation from Congo, and also to justify my accounts now, the transactions that have been going on, because they are the people they are fighting. You get what I'm trying to say? In order to make Congo stable. So I looked, and I actually, when I was, they pose that question to you, but they pose it through email, because they talk to you nicely and tell you to go home, so that they can now actually ask you to do all those things, or come pick your passport and you're blacklisted for life. So it just hit me, because somebody told me the American visa is issued in a day.
Yeah.
Yes. In a day or two or something like that. Yeah. So it hit me that this guy, I've satisfied everything because I know my worth and I know my paperwork, and because like I have no forged document in my possession, and in my head I'm like, anybody would be at least happy that a genuine businessman is coming to their country, maybe for a holiday, because come on, we are coming to Spain, that's foreign exchange for them.
That's true. That's true.
Now, I looked at it and I'm like, these guys are wasting my time. I can go elsewhere. You get what I'm trying to say? So I wrote, please return my passport, yes, and so that I travel and do my other things. You understand what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. So they told me, no, listen here. We need you to certify and clean this area, your timber issue, because it's going to be, it can even actually blacklist you all the way to Europe.
Yeah. Okay.
So I told them, look here, I run a factory in Kampala. The address, you have it. The articles of association, you have them. If you want a site visit, please do. But I don't think I should be in position because you're not Uganda Revenue Authority.
Yeah.
But when you come and see, there are trucks offloading timber. I don't know where the trucks are from. I don't know how what they do. A businessman is coming to trade with me. You understand what I'm trying to say? My job is to get the timber, which is in raw format, turn it into the pieces that are required by my clients.
Yeah.
Yes, work on it. Basically, I'm to add value. The export part of my business is, how should I put it? I offload from Mombasa. So basically, I'm not the one actually exporting the timber. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
The other guy is importing the timber into his country. He's just so scared of the insecurity and everything that it's like I've sold him the timber from my factory at a good premium, but I just help him with the transport to Mombasa. From there on, it's his what?
It's his business.
It's his business.
Yeah.
So what am I trying to tell you? My job is value addition.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? And then again, if you know your, global economics, works by the hands in Europe are very expensive. Yes? Yeah. So to produce, for example, a door, just a simple door, yes? In Europe, it would go for about, a mahogany door, they would sell it to you for about £2,000, let's say, in the UK. Here, it goes for, a shutter would go for about 700,000. Do you see the contrast? Yeah. Now, another thing, the labor on that door, to turn it into a door. In Europe, it would cost them at least, people are paid per hour. But I think, I'm not sure, but it would cost them another, let me see, $400 or $500 to turn that timber into a door. Now here, I have all the machines and they're from Italy. I'll cut it to size where all you need to do, remember, when a door is cut in pieces, joining it is very simple. Very simple.
Okay.
Even a carpenter student who started yesterday can actually do it.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
So what happens is, he will, if I cut it to size, and you see Europe is a bit standardized, whereby you'll not come up all of a sudden and
with a weird size
of door. You get what I'm trying to say? You'll work within guidelines.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happens is, I'll load a container of doors which have been cut and painted, and how should I put it? Like the finishing will not be done to make it which color, which dye of which stain you want. Yeah, but it will be cut to size. Where all you have to do is assemble it and spray it the way you want it.
Yeah.
Whereby I'm giving the other guy basically a finished product. You understand? But he's going to import it in pieces. And when he reaches that side, he'll have saved on the labor. You get what I'm trying to say? To turn it into a door, to turn the wood into a door.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So all you have to do is, when you make an order, for example, you're doing a housing project that side, but definitely it has to be high end, because otherwise they don't put in mahogany doors in there, or mahogany floors or mahogany ceilings, etc. Now what happens is, when he comes to contract to your place, all he has to do is assemble. You get what I'm trying to say? So he has actually made money by producing in Africa. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And then all he does is the final touch there. So it's basically commerce. But when you come down to it, to the controversy you're talking about, I don't see it, because in my part of the work, I don't get entangled in it.
So I see that perspective actually quite clearly. What you're saying is, the world is complex, basically.
Yes.
There is a war somewhere, but the fact that for you can control your own ecosystem, and
Yes.
you know that you
And
meet
I can
all
keep
the
my
politi-
cautious screen.
Exactly, yeah. So that I make.
Yeah.
The third question that I wanted to ask was, it looks, from the way I'm looking at you, and I don't know, you look like still very young guy.
Yes, I would believe, but I'm 35. Yes, I think I work out. That's not young.
That's still youth. In Uganda's categorization, you still be youth, right?
Well, I have 2 grown babies, so I don't.
Youth parents.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, and you seems like you've had money, going down. And recently, a few episodes back, we had Jojo Bitature on the podcast. Jojo Bitature is the
I know
son
him.
of Doge. Yeah. So we had him, and one of the things he said, growing up with this whole the Bitature name, the impression given to other people that he's a rich guy, and sort of one of his challenges was how to make actual friends, right? Like most of the people who will make acquaintance with him, would want something ideally. Or,
Yes. They want to use
yeah,
it.
exactly. Deep down in his thoughts, he's thinking maybe this person is trying to calculate something.
Yes.
He's looking at have you faced the same challenges having money, or have you been anonymously rich? There's also being rich when no one knows you're rich, and being rich and your name is Bitature when everyone hears.
Well,
your name
I
there.
can't relate. I've done business with his father, but I can't relate. You understand what I'm trying to say? I can't relate his struggle. You understand what I'm trying to say? My best friend, the guy your brother always finds me with, comes from that kind of line, whereby his family has had crazy money since day one, and again, how should I put it? They run a very huge conglomerate of real estate, both here, London, America, where now. He has actually, I think, failed to marry because he's looking at every girl like that.
Yeah.
Because every girl is actually looking at him as what is it called? Like a cash cow. Yeah. But someone once told me that your best friends, you made them when you were in school, younger, when you were innocent. And I believe it's true because me and him go way back. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, how should I put it? I've been around very many successful young men. I think he has met some of my friends. Now, I've got to see one thing. I don't know if they actually look at it. Like, Uganda is crazy. Uganda is spoiled.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even date a girl without her asking who you are, what you do, doing her mathematics of how she's going to benefit from whatever you get involved in. At least I've seen my share. Now, it's, how should I put it? The ladies, people actually marry let me put it this way. The good people out there are actually hidden. They are nowhere to be found easily. You get what I'm trying to say? That anybody tomorrow who told me they met a girl in a bar, they're now dating, etc. I'm always like, oh my God, this nigga. As in, in my head, I'm like, okay. Because of my mode of doing business, because I like networking so much, I have ended up socializing with very many gold diggers, and in fact some of them even come openly and tell me, you know what, I see your guys are like this, could you hook me up, because I think I could get this from this one, from this. So you look at them, but you see, life is funny. You're a politician whether you want it or not. You get what I'm trying to say? Whether you want it or not, there's going to be politics in your life. And there's no useless person in this world, including that gold digger, including those people who want to take things from you like you're asking. All you have to actually find out, all you actually have to look for is how can they also be beneficial in your life to push your story. Because guess what? Even them have uncles, aunties who are in positions to put you or help you push your agenda further. You get what I'm trying to say? So all you have to do is actually study the person. Take your time, study the person. Like your friends, they want to be your friends because they think they're going to get something out of you, or maybe But guess what? It's a two-way street. It's not one-way traffic. If you study that person, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You get what I'm trying to say? At a certain point in your life, you are going to find need, and where that person is, you'll see their benefit in your life. And once you see that, then drive your traffic. Let him come, you go. You get what I'm trying to say? Let it be a two-way traffic.
This reminds me of a book that I read a while back. There's a book by Adam Grant called Give and Take.
I should actually look for that one. I hope they have an audio book out because I'm not good at reading.
I actually also listen to the audiobook. So yeah, and he categorizes sort of people, the way they interact with others, in three kinds of people: the givers, the takers, and the matchers. Right. So basically, the people who are just generally generous. You know, they will be willing to make favors, offers, even if it's the calculation is biased against them.
Yes.
Then there are takers, the aggressive people who usually want to figure out before they make any deal, how best do I gain more than the person I'm making the deal with? And then there are matchers. There are people who prefer the equilibrium. You know, I'll give as much as I get. If I get more, I'll be more open to giving and things like that. And, I'm wondering what your philosophy is with most of the people you met. Are you leaning towards taking? Are you leaning towards giving? Are you leaning towards matching? Or do you change depending on the situation also?
I believe in everybody there is a devil and an angel at the same time.
I agree with that.
But you try to find a balance. What do I mean? My philosophy in doing business is I don't want to do business with anybody I'm exploiting. For example, when I sold my last property, I went into financial services, yes, where I lend money, yes, and most of all my friends that I associate with, I end up today, purchasing a TV station with few friends of mine where I'm going to end up being a board chairman on. I'm getting that seat with CEOs of how should I put it, very powerful companies in Uganda. And yet, if you notice, my business is a bit of informal. It's not that how should I put it, like that complex, such as, let me say, the MTNs or the Stanbics or the what. But we are sitting on the same table, like how should I put it, with their brass. You understand what I'm trying to say? And having a same goal. Why? Because how should I put it? My financial company has helped me get into people's issues. You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. Now, in getting into their issues, I've always been brought deals by I think a broker is your worst enemy. He can break you if you are not strong-willed, because he'll tell you, oh, look here, this guy is distressed. He's in trouble. If we give him 100 million on a property worth 800 million and we do the mathematics, in 6 months we'll hit him out of his property. I don't do that business. Okay. I never do that business. My financial company focuses on people who are successful already in their small ventures. You understand what I'm trying to say? Whereby if I bring in more capital, I'm actually going to do what? We are actually going to make more money together. I see. And that is how I've ended up with all my guys, that we are moving together. We are moving in a straight line. I don't do business with, for example, I would love to help where I can, but I would never take an advantage of a situation where you're actually in trouble. For example, let's say you're down and out, because it happens in business. It always happens in business. You lose money, you make money. Now, when you have lost money and you have debts and you have issues, maybe I can never come to you and put money in taking your assets, because it's like I'm buying you for pennies on the dollar. I don't believe in that way of doing business, because the problem with that way of doing business, there's karma. I believe in karma. It comes back and gets you. And you remember, let me tell you something, no matter what you tell yourself when you're alone, when you're speaking within yourself, I'm sure you have these conversations. Yes. And you can justify anything, anyway. You can tell yourself that, you know what, I'm going to take this guy's house or this guy's car, but I'm not the one who looked for him. You'll tell yourself all those things to make yourself feel good. But I guarantee you, your karma is just around the corner to pay you in kind, in fact, even worse. You understand what I'm saying? So never enter in a business with ill intentions and feelings. If the other guy has the ill intentions and feelings, guess what? You're lucky. Do you know why? Like I told you, I'm a believer, and there's this thing I've seen. I've lost a lot of money, by the way. I've lost a lot of money. I think I would actually be very well to do today if it wasn't for some of the bad people I trusted in business. Because I will tell you this, in 2017, I lost about 2 billion shillings in ventures with people, in merging with different ventures. But that time, I was not paying professionals well. I was not paying lawyers well. I was just looking at it that, okay, I met this guy. He's good. I think he's trustworthy. I think we can do this. Let me do something with him. So how should I put it? Out of the like 6 people I started with at that time, I still have 2 loyal ones. Yes. The other 4, we had court battles. Others, I forgave them because of their prevailing circumstances. But I lost a lot of money, and I actually got ulcers around that time, and I had actually wanted to give up on like business completely and stick to what I know. But then how should I put it? The faster you stand up when you're falling down, the better for you. Because if you fall down now in anything you're doing, if you fall down now and even take, I would tell you to blow off your steam, but I'm not telling you to stay there and feel sorry for yourself. Like, for example, if I lost money today in any venture, because it hurts me, and it's not about the money, it's about the loss. I love being associated with wins. Like, it's not because money is just a number. Like, I see. And you see, Uganda is a country whereby, I don't know about the States, I've not lived there. I don't know about, I've lived in Europe, but in Uganda, because I've done business in Uganda, I can tell you that for a person who has 1 billion shillings in their capital, and a person who has 500 million in their capital, and Sudil who has, I don't know how much, you'll access the same services and get the same treatment. You'll access the same doctors. You'll access, how should I put it? You'll get the same benefits that he does, yet he's at his level. You get what I'm trying to say?
You're basically at some threshold.
Yes. Also, when you enter the bank, you'll be a priority client. When you go to eat somewhere, you can have a special table for yourself, whereby every time you come, they'll give it to you. You get what I'm trying to say? When you go to see, you can have a personal doctor, a personal lawyer, and your kid can go to an international school if you're operating in that threshold. You understand what I'm trying to say? And you'll not feel it. So basically, you'll have the same social life. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, because of that, you don't need to eat everything and eat it like in a way that, how should I put it, like where you're taking things because you're exploiting people. When you exploit people like that, guess what's going to happen to you? A day is going to come when you're older, because I have very many, by the way, most of my friends, like, all the people who have brought me up in life, I was 9 and talking to ministers. I don't know, I just find it, like when at that time, they were my neighbors in the area. They just bought properties in the area. And like, I would talk to these guys. I saw very many of them prosper in shady dealings. You get what I'm trying to say? Today, I sit with the same people. And they're still as powerful as, but now today they are givers. Do you know what? They're not givers because they want to. Yes? They are givers because they feel they are atoning for their sins. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, me, I don't want to put myself in a position where I can't sleep at night and doze and snore. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because the demons within you are more dangerous than those ones that are outside. Like, if you can't live in your head, do you understand what I mean? If you need noise always. Because like, I'll give you an example. In a week, I work, like, when I'm doing like container loadings, it will take me like 24 hours of serious work, and I'll have freedom the whole week, whereby that's when I'll check on the other ventures where I have partners with. Yes, I'll pass through a business for an hour, see if there's something to fix, if there's something to do. Then I have the rest of the day to myself. Then I love my sleep meanwhile. So I'll go and actually sit in my room and sleep, or put on an audio book. Now, I'll tell you something. I am at peace with the demons in my head, because I have very many friends who he can't even, like, he has to be, from work, he has to be very drunk to go and actually get sleep at home. He can't sit there and be alone by himself, because the demons in his head are going to haunt him. Now, that's a life I don't want.
I see.
That's a life I don't want.
Rumor has it that, from what I've heard, in order to in order to succeed to the highest level, sometimes you just have to learn to live
with your demons.
With such demons, apparently. It's better than avoiding them. That's what I've heard.
Well, I've met other businessmen that say the other, and I'll actually tell you this. You mentioned a gentleman, Mr. Patrick Bitature. I have mentors. I used to work out with Mr. Patrick Bitature very early in the morning in Kabira. I always used to dig his brain. Yes, like just ask him a question, 1, 2, 3 things going on. I'm sure, how should I put it? He normally answered me, and he was like, but this boy is so inquisitive. Yes, like, but I used to ask him questions in the morning. I would make sure if he's working out there by I'm a weightlifter. I love it. It helps me focus. So now, along that, he never weightlifts. So he's always in the cardio section of things. But guess what? I would carry my weights to his side of things so that I can just work out near him. By then, I just wanted him to know me. Yes, so maybe along the way, you never know, he could throw an opportunity my way or something. But then along the way, I started meeting him in church. Yes, he's a very, how should I put it? He's one of those guys who's always at church, like at the Catholic church, and he's always throwing talks to the youth. Then he's always at the same time, even in the gym, he always will give you the time. If you ask, he'll give, and he'll answer you. He'll give you the guidance you actually need, and he'll give it to you straight the way it is. So I got to realize that this guy, I think he's at peace with himself. There's another businessman whom I actually adore. His name is Mr. Charlie Vega. This one is my personal.
I've heard Charlie Vega.
Yes, he's my personal friend. He owns a club.
I think I've heard Charlie Vega. He used to be the racer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, despite what people, you see, this for a person who owns a club, people would think he's like, if you don't know him, you would judge him as a club owner. You understand what I'm trying to say? But this guy taught me that you can actually have fun with people, do business, and remain clean. This guy doesn't drink. He has never drunk a day in his life. This guy every day, like even on Sunday, he's in the gym working out to keep his health all right. If you stood with him and I stood with him, we look older than him. Yet he's like I think twice my age. You understand what I'm trying to say? He's always talking about, he's the one who is always telling me about learning how to let go of things. Like, for example, he's the one who gave me that doctrine of, if somebody like meets you and they're after getting something and they actually get it, let them go, don't revenge, leave them be, let karma handle its issue. And again, you have survived. Like, he could have taken bigger or something. You get what I'm trying to say? He's the one, like, so when you talk to these gentlemen, they'll all tell you one thing: never invest money that you're not ready to lose. That's number one. Like, anytime you're investing money, just make sure that you've covered your bases. Don't invest, like when you're testing the depth of waters, don't test it with your 2 feet.
That was Warren Buffett, I think. I read that from one of those.
Then again, he will tell you, he will speak to you and tell you that when you do a venture with somebody and the person cheats you, you should actually be happy if the venture works out and the person cheats you. Do you know what it means? You have just got a lesson in the business of how, because if you make money, you can go and do the same business now by yourself or with people you trust. So you've actually paid for school. You've paid for school fees. As in, you've paid your school fees. You've paid your master's degree in that. You understand what I'm trying to say? I do. So there's no actual loss if you think about it. You've actually learned. But it depends on how you look at it. If you sit there and you're like, you know what, I've lost, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Unless maybe you stole the money from someone originally that you invested. But if you made it yourself, there's nothing to be scared about. It's just a setback. And guess what? Even all the people you admire in this world, I think every day they're going through the same thing. Because those gentlemen you've mentioned, I've been with them when they are worried to death over something, but they can't disclose it to you. They have a good poker face. And because Uganda is small, you get to hear, because you'll share bankers, you'll share so you'll get to hear this, that. But at the end of the day, you'll see a man come out of it strong, happy, and he'll be a winner because he like persevered. Then again, he didn't give up. In the same old things, because what I've got to realize, like, if you're not ready in life to like go through the storm when it comes, you just as well give up now and like right now and stay home or go into a mental institution or maybe commit a crime, go to jail, and they feed you for the rest of your life. But problems are to man and they are going to come. That
quote reminds me of, I used to do some meditation a few years back, and there's a guy, I think he's called Jack Confield. And so his advice for people who want to venture into meditation and stuff, he would say, if you haven't started, it's better not to start. But if you start,
you
cannot finish. I mean, you cannot not finish. You have to finish. If you decide to start, then you must finish. And sort of, I feel like what you're saying resonates a little bit. Well, I'm not much into that kind of business, into the sort of scale of business you're in, but it resonates a little bit. And one of the other things maybe that I'm curious about is your philosophy for investing. So I know networking, and we're going to come to this maybe after this, networking, you do the parties, you go to church, well, contrasting a little bit, but you'll also explain that. But your philosophy of business, which kind of people do you look at to invest, So say, you already mentioned that you want someone who's already succeeding, who you can make money with, right?
Yes.
But is there a specific category of business where you want, say, for example, for my side, and I don't have a lot of money, but I have skill set in tech. And most of the startups that I work with are people who I can help technically. I'm not like broke myself, but I can foot a few bills for your business, but I can only pitch in if the technical skills that you're missing, if they'll be expensive, you can't hire me, but I can come and do that kind of work for you. As sort of my investment into your business, Is that how, for you, what is the decision around the business? Is it businesses you're familiar with? Is it just someone pitches you an idea that has good money?
Businesses are all the same from my
point of view.
It's about profit and loss.
Okay.
I'm a statistician by profession. Then my dad is an accountant, so numbers come easily around me. Like, before we talk, like, you can make your business look as beautiful, as pompous as you wish it to be.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It can be a setup, but once I look at your books, I will know the health of your business. And again, I pay professionals well. I'll not trust my I'll not trust my take on what I've seen. I will audit you. You get what I'm trying to say? Because numbers don't lie. 1 + 1 is equal to 1. 1 + 1
is equal to 2. Yeah.
Whatever you do, however you try to hide it, it will. A good forensic accountant will find it. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how should I put it? The world has moved. There are things you can't lie to me. You could be cheating on your taxes, and at the same time using that to show me that you're making profits. Yes. It's just a call away. And that's what I told you about the networking. You could have forged your bank statements to make your business look healthy. There is no bank that I don't have somebody in that I cannot call and get your actual statement, provided you've given me the mandate to do so.
Oh, I see.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereby, do your research basically. Now, when I say businesses are the same, I once asked one of the people I admire, there's a gentleman, he's called Mr. Abu Mukasa. He owns a lot of stakes in telecom companies, in buildings abroad, in buildings here. He does a lot of tendering for government, for defense. He's one of the people I actually like who brought me up as a child. Like, he was my rich dad.
No, I see.
Yes. Now, when I look at this gentleman, one time I asked him a question. Mr. Abu, what do you do? Can I make you laugh? Up to today, I don't have the answer to that question. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
He told me, I do everything that makes profit. You get what I'm trying to say?
I see, yeah.
I told you right now I'm into acquiring a television station.
Oh.
I have never done anything to do with TV.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? But my two partners, one is an advertising guru. He owns an agency of advertising that handles most of the work of MTN, Warchild. He has a lot of like big business under his belt. Yes? At least he has a turnover over 1 billion shillings a month. Yeah. Now, and he handles advertisements. He's always going to TVs to actually advertise for his clients. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, my other business partner is a guy who I worked with when I was young. He taught me how to market. He used to be the senior marketing officer for Cineplex. So the movie cinema, the first movie cinema in Uganda. So he brought me on to bring him adverts from different companies before a movie starts. Now, he is the man behind some of the people you see on TV, such as MC Cats. It's his training and his mentorship
I see.
that made those gentlemen you see. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, he has always been in the background of TV. You get what I'm trying to say? He has always been the one behind like some of the teen awards you've been seeing, the etc. He has been very influential in finding sponsors for most of the TV shows that are Ugandan made. You get what I'm saying? So he finally wanted to throw in the towel, yes, and go into a TV. So the idea was actually his, but he didn't have the capital behind it. So one day I'm having lunch,
at my friend's restaurant, the guy I told you about, who does everything. Yes?
Yeah.
This is a very... Meanwhile, get this. This is a man who owns telecom companies, not only in Uganda. Yes? He owns buildings in Canada, in America, moreover on the property front, like the high-end streets. He has made it. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, this guy owns a restaurant in Kololo. Okay, he had a property where his dream is to build the Uganda's tallest building, because that's what he wants to live in Uganda. Like, so he's always looking out at plans who is building the tallest one. So he said he's going to give it some time, because with all the properties he has and with all the real estate he has, this guy can pull off that thing just like that without any financing from anywhere, without what he can do it. But now he has a very prime property in Kololo, which of recent he turned into a restaurant just to keep his family members busy, like his siblings, to have what to do. You get what I'm trying? So it's now one of the highest. So I would put it, I would say it's one of the premium restaurants in Uganda doing local food. Yes,
okay,
but premium. Like when you walk into this place, you'll find from your chief justice to your ministers to your CEOs of etc. all there seated having lunch, and without, how should I put it? That's the place where you can actually just walk in, meet them, talk to them without going through their security. Their security will be like, as in there will be normal people in that place. You understand what I mean? It's like a certain social, should I say, club, but it's not put out that way. But you would see everybody knows everybody, and they are calling themselves on first name basis. You get what I'm trying to say? Now, in this place, I asked this gentleman one time, thanked me. I stood up, he thanked me. Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting the business. I looked at him. He had an armored bulletproof Land Cruiser with PGB outside and a G63 outside. Like, that's how he was moving. You understand what I'm trying to say? Just when you think about it quickly, that's like what he spent, like that's like $1 million outside in his transport. Before his guards, before etc. But this nigga is thanking me for eating food worth what, 70,000 or 60,000. So I tell him, why are you thanking me for putting a drop of water in a lake? You understand? Then he told me a story, how he was seated with the Prince of Dubai one time outside having coffee, and the prince thanked him for supporting the Dubai mall by buying a cup of what? Of coffee. So he also asked him in the same, he looked at him and he was actually pissed because this guy was telling him the same what? The same kind of thing. Then the prince told him, you had that money in your pocket. It wasn't mine. Now it is mine. Why shouldn't I thank you for giving it to me? You understand what I'm trying to say?
I see that.
So, coming back to you, I wonder how, when I look at my mentor owning a restaurant, when he can't even cook an egg. You understand what I'm trying to say? It brings me back to that thing. Learn how to do everything, provided it makes you money. You understand what I'm trying to say? Provided it makes financial sense. And be passionate. I'm passionate about numbers, about profits, and actually about winning. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm not passionate about a specific business. I'm not sentimental. You understand what I'm trying to say? I like good things in everything I do. If it's a car and I buy it, because also I've traded cars for profit, but I'll buy a ride, I'll look at it, and I'll be like, how best can I make this sell to my clientele? I'll be like, with the clientele I've sold cars. Let me just tell you this. All my friends who have come in here in those Mercedes Benzes, it is, I'm the one who sold them those cars. You get what I'm trying to say? I got them as my cars, not as their cars. Worked on them to make them fit what I want them to look like. So my friend comes, he's like, you know what? I'm taking this car. That's your issue. Me, I'm taking it. I want it. So what am I trying to tell you? When you do something, do it passionately. Whatever you're doing, do it passionately for yourself. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, for example, if I were to open up a podcast tomorrow to make money, you get what I'm trying to say? I would do it passionately for myself. Like, it's something I would also want to go back to and listen to when I'm bored. You never know. Maybe when I'm having issues, I will pick up something in there that will actually lift me up. You never know.
True.
You never know. Or maybe I could have spilled an idea somewhere, but I didn't write it down that I will need. Or even our exchanges, like for example, you mentioned the book. In my head, I'm like, okay, this is a white book, but I need to read it. You understand what I'm trying to say? Already it's scratching my head, it's tickling my mind. True. So what I'm trying to say is do everything passionately. And when you do it that way, guess what is going to happen to you? You'll be the best at if someone will think you're multi-talented. You understand what I'm trying to say? Somebody will think you're and they'll ask you, haven't you ever wondered how Sudil runs hospitals, insurance businesses, banks? Was he educated in those things?
True.
But he's doing all of them. So what I can say for now, yes, your method works because how should I put it? You want to play a place where you put technicals. Actually, what I'm seeing, it's more of your control and security mechanism. You understand what I'm trying to say? But it's not about it's the only thing you would do. It's more that right now you're scared of businesses you don't understand.
That is entirely true. Yeah.
So you like doing something where by offering your technical skills, you're investigating the business.
I just don't know what's going on exactly.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
That is.
So that I can understand. But later, I'll also advise you on one thing. Never do anything you can pay anybody to do somebody to do for you. You understand what I'm trying to say? You understand what I'm trying to say?
If you can afford that, somebody.
If you can afford it. And let me tell you something. It's a practice. I never used to operate the way I do. Yes, in terms of using professionals until I sold a property. Actually, it was my best property I built to my date. It wasn't, well, to some people, it's little money. To me, it changed my life. You get what I'm trying to say? I sold my first big property for about $700,000 to one of the biggest prominent businessmen in Uganda who I would never think I would actually sit with. Yes? To actually do, because he's too rich that he would get architects from everywhere, get engineers, and do something better or in just a minute. And he's a construction mob. But he walked to my place and refused to leave until I sold him the property. And that time I wasn't selling it. It was in my head. I was like, I think I should keep this for myself. But after pleading with me how he wanted to buy it, yes, and how he wanted to take it, in my head I was like, how can such a gentleman? Because, for example, myself, I look at Bellwether. It's a very nice property.
Yeah.
But if I had the same money, I would build it myself.
Oh, I see.
You understand what I'm trying to say? I would never buy it. That one. I would never even think a day in my life to come and buy this property. Whether it has tenants who are working well, I would build it myself. I would want to know what is in the foundation, when something is spoiled. Because I was there, I know where to work with it. Because construction. You need to know where conduits are passing, where it is, where you laid where. So basically, when problems come in property management, you're like, what, let's not break the whole wall, just to break there. I put this here, I know it is somewhere here. So I prefer having that knowledge than actually paying to find it. Because most of you look at plans, for example, of Bellwether, I guarantee you they are very different from what was actually built here. You hear what I'm trying to say? This is not Europe or America, where when they tell you a pipe or a conduit of electricity is passing there, it is there. No, people modify always. Yes. Now, because of, how should I put it, that kind of thing, I will tell you this. Please learn to do your research on business.
Yeah, no, I think this is very enlightening for me. This is quite one of the most interesting conversations I've had, that I'll tell you for sure. Thank you very much, Joe, for accepting this invitation. This has been, again, for me, it has been quite enlightening. It's one of the best conversations I've had. And I feel like we're age mates, so it feels also like it's a big challenge for me now. I need to reassess my perspective to life. But yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. And again, I have to commend you on this. It's the first of its kind I've seen. I never used to open myself to it. I've been called for Buzz Teens Awards to give me the entrepreneur award sometime. I've been called for those things, but I've been shying away from those things because, Uganda as a society before, I don't know if you were aware, Uganda as a society before used to take down its own. You understand what I mean? Like, if people get wind that you're doing things, you're making things happen, they would come after you. You get what just to bring you down. I don't know why. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't know why. But right now the environment is different, and I've got to realize that actually getting to put your things out there can actually get you more business and actually get you more knowledge and get you more networks. Hence, that's why you've started seeing my networking has gone on another. That's why I actually, before, like 2 years ago, I was such a shy person, I wouldn't accept this podcast because I would think that is you putting me out there. You understand what I'm trying to say? But today I do, because you never know what other opportunities it can actually get me. For example, I have met you and I know that you are very good at your digital solutions, and I know that all businesses actually are going to need profiles of people, of their, let me say, owners, CEOs, of their what, that already I'm seeing. I actually have to talk to my networks to find or incorporating this into their system, because they need it. They need to know that the people up there in those companies actually have fears just like them. They have red blood like them. They are not ice cold, and they are not actually those monsters they make the corporate cutthroats to be. No, they're actually normal like you. And I believe they are supposed to bridge that gap, like bring them to, because if I had a podcast of people talking to me like this when I was young, I believe I would be very far.
Oh, I see.
I would be very, 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 very far with my life now.
That's a huge compliment. Yes. I see. Yeah. Well, thank you as well. Thank you, and hopefully we'll get you back. We'll just have a few other guests and we'll get you back and have a different conversation, and maybe focus on the parties. I want to get those details. Yeah, I want to focus on those details of the parties.
How should I put it? I always tell people, when you meet somebody, you have 5 minutes to make an impression, or for that person to look at you as like a bystander or a statistic. Yeah. So, like for example, today, yes, we are going to have that party. Already, my phone has been buzzing here, but I don't want to get into it. Because how should I put it? I was on a podcast and I have to respect this. But the guy who was actually calling me is the CEO of Pillar Media. He's just actually asking me what time he should show up. His business is actually big. It's okay, Ugandan standard. It's worth about, like, let's say $2 million. But why he wants to come here? It's not because about the party. It's because there's business he wants to push, and he knows the person to push it to is going to be here. You get what I'm trying to say? And that is the same thing I would also tell you people. Today, I'm going to introduce them to this setup of yours going on. But what you do with it, if you get business out of it,
that's now good for you.
The ball is in your court. Sure. If you remain somebody he just says hi to, the ball is in your court.
I see. Yeah, true. Yeah, thanks a lot.